I would be married in 2026. That was just one of various posts I've seen across social media in recent weeks for the ladies out there who are looking forward to getting married. And the posts were basically saying, profess in the comments that 2026 will be your year of marriage. And a lot of ladies are going in the comments of these different posts and saying, yes, 2026 will be the year I meet my husband and I become a wife. I thought it was very interesting to see that, given that in my experience, I've seen so many couples in our society today and a lot of married couples, and it seems like 75% of them are unhappily married. And I recall seeing a therapist video not too long ago, and she was talking about 75% of the couples, married couples who come into her therapist practice, they are incompatible. So my question is, where is the love? And speaking of love, my 5-day challenge focusing on the fruit of the spirit called Renew Your Fruit is beginning next Monday, January the 5th. So you can find out more information in the description. But I just thought about the question, where is the love? If we're going to have all these marriages occurring in 2026, but it seems like about 75% of current married couples are incompatible or unhappily married. Where is the love? And it made me think of this verse, First Corinthians, 13, 4, starting with verse 4. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. And that verse came into mind for me because I personally have had experiences with some married people, and I did highlight specific cases in my video called "The Number One Reason the number one reason I don't envy married women." There were cases of 3 different married women who attacked me, and knowing that I'm a single woman, and they were attacking me in the sense of trying to get me to lose my job, knowing that I'm a single woman. And then there were 3 different married men, and these men and women were not married to one another. So this was a representation of 6 different marriages, right? The 3 different married men decided it was appropriate to assault me in a sexual manner without my consent or me provoking them in any kind of way. So I recall the verses here. If you are attacking someone, is love really within you? And I call all 6 of those different examples attacks because it's a violation of me. One thing I recall hearing from some therapists is that if you are a single person and you have issues, say, with lust, with anger, whatever that may be, you will enter your marriage with those issues. Those issues don't just pop up in your marriage, they already were within the person before the person got married. And getting married does not suddenly make those issues go away. Actually, I heard that being married exacerbates or, just enlarges those issues unless you get some help for them, which is why I'm a big advocate for therapy. And I actually had to do that with in my own marriage to my now ex-husband. Unfortunately, it was just one of those situations where I was putting in a lot of work and he was putting in really no work. And so in a situation like that, it's just not going to work out. It's just the way it goes, right? So, when it comes to love, is love really in the person who's okay with hurting people and attacking people? And I just thought about those posts and the people writing these comments in the post about, hey, yes, 2026 is going to be my year that I get married. And if there are so many people there, writing those comments there, and I'm not saying that won't happen for any of them. My prayer is that everyone gets what they want. But at the same time, I'm praying that people enter these unions with true love in your heart, right? You got to have that love in your heart. And a lot of people seem to be missing it. If I'm coming across about 75% of couples, of married couples, and they seem to be unhappily married, and we're having these issues with, for instance, women, and the women I mentioned before, again, they were on the job trying to get me fired. And it's like it was a way of them, in a sense, trying to blow off steam. To this day, I still don't know what in the world I did to them that made them do that to me, because I don't recall a single thing I did to them to try to be hurtful or offensive to them. And if I was, they never bothered to tell me. They just tried to get me fired, right? Just right off the bat. Things like that. And I thought it was very interesting when it comes to the men as well. When it says love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. So not only did their violation of me not protect me, but it did not protect their families. So if you really think about this, if for any reason at all I decided to expose the identity of any of those men, those families are not exposed. They're out in the public eye. People know who they are, and it's an embarrassment for the family. You all have heard recently about the Sharon Moore, the coach of University of Michigan. He was recently lost his job, right, after his affair with the staffer that was against policy of that university, right? And that his family was put out there, so he was no longer really a protector of his family. Now, was he? So that was an unfortunate situation for that family, but he's not the first person who has ever gone through that. And he won't be the last person who has that experience and exposes his family. So that's not real love. So I'm just finding it interesting that some of these currently married people out here, and again, it's not everybody. I'm a believer that about approximately 25% of people are happily married, and I even referenced one of those happily married couples that I'm aware of in that video with that title, the number one reason I don't envy married women. I know you thought I was being totally negative in that video. Absolutely not. But within the first 3 minutes, I give praise to a couple I find to be in a healthy marriage. I mean, from my perspective and based on their transparency about their relationship. So, hey, go check that video out. But when I think about love in our society today, there doesn't seem to be enough love. Too many people are thinking, I think they're in love with the idea of being in love. But if you're at a point in your life where you're hurting other folks, you think it's okay to instill pain in another person. For instance, especially instilling pain in somebody else and not taking accountability for your actions, especially if someone comes and corrects you in love and you attack them, you're defensive, you're finding some kind of way to take revenge on somebody. If that's any of your ways, I don't even see where the love is. It doesn't make sense. Like, where's the love in that case? Then the other verse that I had come to mind is Mark 12:30-31. And it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. So those are the first two commandments, and those are the most powerful and the greatest of the commandments. So we've all heard the love your neighbor as yourself commandment before. And so how many people are really out here loving your neighbor as yourself? So if people are out here attacking people, hurting people, finding ways to blow off steam on other folks, you're really not loving your neighbor at all, which tells me you really actually don't love yourself. Because attacking somebody else, like I just read earlier with the other verse, love is patient, love is kind. Attacking someone, assaulting someone, that's not kindness at all. That's just not, it doesn't protect. It doesn't show any honor, like the other verse in Corinthians just spoke of, right? So where is that love coming from? That person does not have the love within. So I'm seeing more of this in individuals in society, but I'm also seeing a lot of these posts where people are jumping in and saying, I'm going to be married in 2026. Again, not an impossible thing, but my suggestion is kind of work on getting more of that love within you, and you can do that. It is January the 1st at the time of this recording, January 1st, 2026, at the time I'm recording this video. Anything is possible with changing throughout the course of this year. You have 365 days, we're at this point 364 days left over, right? That you can be making a change in your life. Some people can go to therapy. I've done therapy and coaching, and it has been a great game changer for me, and it's worked wonders for me. And I'm just much more enthusiastic about this year for myself. Really excited about it and looking forward to what's to come. So I'm not a believer that all is lost if someone today is dealing with some type of issue with love, being able to give love. Because if you want to really have that great relationship with someone, You gotta love. You gotta learn to love yourself, and not in a conceited way, in some way that's disrespectful to someone else. But just love yourself, as the Bible says, love yourself. And that first thing that's mentioned is loving God, loving the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. So I think a lot of people, especially my Christian people here, and I get it, if you're not a believer, you can take what you can out of this message. I invite you to take that message. But for my believers out here, we know this. This is what we're supposed to be doing. So if we're out here attacking people, we're actually out of order with God when we're attacking people, because there's nothing in the Bible that says attacking people is okay. Based on all those love verses I just read from the Bible just now, nothing in the Bible says it's okay to attack anybody because you're blowing off steam or whatnot. Um, one of the 9 fruit of the spirit is self-control. So another part of the verse in Corinthians say love is not easily angered. So if you're easily angered, you have a self-control issue. So blowing off steam, for instance, where you're going off on someone else, attacking someone else, trying to sabotage someone else, hurt someone else, it's an indication of a self-control problem, which is an indication of a love problem as well. So I think a lot of it comes to, going back to the source, going back to knowing God, which whatever you need to do to get yourself spiritually sound and in that place that you need to be in, just go and do that. I know some people seek different churches. Sometimes people seek it online if they're not ready to go into a physical church home yet. Hey, I'm open to different options, a variety of options, but I highly, definitely encourage the therapy because it has worked wonders for my life and actually has helped me from ending my own life a few years back. I actually say that God sent me to therapy. For all the people who are out there saying, well, if you believe in God, you don't need therapy. God sent me to therapy. God uses people to fulfill his will. So if you believe in that too, you can be blessed in that way. So I think it all starts within, and then we can adequately love others, including a mate. That's all I really wanted to say. I hope this has been beneficial to you. And again, the details for that challenge, that 5-day virtual challenge, is free, called Renew Your Fruit, regarding the 9 fruit of the Spirit, improving in those areas so that you can gain the desires of your heart. The details of that challenge is in the description of this video. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.